Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. Seta, I'll let you go ahead and start.
Great. Thank you so much, Erwin. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Los Angeles County Economic Development Corporation, our monthly webinar through Together for LA. Today, we're going to be going over Introduction to Government Contracting. We have a special guest here through the county to be able to lead us the way and give us more information. Again, thank you so much for joining. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Seta Zarabian. I am a regional manager here at Los Angeles County Economic Development Corporation, and I wanted to introduce my colleague.
Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Erwin Silva. I'm the regional manager with Los Angeles County Economic Development Corporation, as well as the technical assistance representative for the Together for LA program.
Thank you, Erwin. About LAEDC. LAEDC, our mission is to represent the diversity of Los Angeles County and act as trusted conveners through partners for small businesses that we work with, diverse-owned businesses, women-owned businesses. We were founded in 1981. We are a nonprofit organization, a 501c3. Our LAEDC, we champion equitable economic growth across the Los Angeles region. This is our mission at LAEDC. Next. At LAEDC, we have a website. With our website, if you go to www.laedc.org/coronavirus, you will see a plethora of business resources that we have on this site. All you have to do is just go ahead and click, and you'll see some information, and we've filtered all the information onto this page. So that way you have all the resources that you need for your business. Next. Together for LA. The Together for LA is a strategic partnership to strengthen and support women and diverse small businesses in Los Angeles County as they thrive to recover from the economic crisis wrought by COVID-19 pandemic. All these services are of no cost, technical assistance and connections to small business resources that are made available through a generous grant from Wells Fargo Open for Business Fund. Below you will see our partners. Today's presentation is sponsored by or hosted by our county partner. Our guest speaker is here, and all this is sponsored to you by Wells Fargo.
Awesome. Thank you, Seta, for that. So now we'll go ahead and move into technical assistance, the services we provide. So LAEDC offers business and technical assistance with complimentary and confidential consulting. I do want to stress that this is no cost to you as well. This consulting is to small businesses across all industry sectors. A team of multilingual business assistance experts are available countywide, including Seta and myself. So we do help business overcome challenges so they can grow and hire with resources and just continue thriving through the actual community that we live in. So depending on your specific needs, we will identify what services or resources are available to you and your businesses during our one-on-one consultation. And again, that is no cost to you. And down below, there are some examples there. So you can take a look. All right. Okay, so this is just an example of how we provide you with those actual resources or services. So again, depending on what services you are seeking, we will connect you and guide you with the live representative or direct contact information to assist you and inform you of all available services and what next steps that you can possibly take. So for example, if you're looking to expand your workforce, we will send you to the America's Job Center of California's to further assist you. Or if you're looking for specific energy efficiencies with Edison, the gas company, that is something we can provide to you. Again, we do connect you with the live representative or give you further information so you can join. All right. And then I also want to take a moment to talk about the Safer at Work website. So this website here this comprehensive website and employer portal is presented by the state of California to assist employers and workers regarding updated guidance on best practices for specific industries and locations relative to COVID-19 compliance and safety. So we all know staying up to date with COVID-19 regulations and protocols is definitely difficult to keep track of, especially with the changes and unforeseen circumstances of COVID-19. So this is a great website to go ahead and utilize to get more information on different types of regulations, protocols, different types of steps. As you can see on the right-hand side, the second bullet point, what steps to take when a worker gets COVID-19. It does give you information on what type of steps to further take if that does happen or anything along those lines. And the very last one, links to online trainings and other helpful resources are definitely there as well. So the website is saferatwork.ca.gov, G-O-V. Again, that's saferatwork.ca.gov. Awesome. All right. So we now will be getting started with today's presentation. So I will be bringing back Seta to take over and introduce our speaker.
Thank you, Erwin. Thank you. Again, welcome everyone. Wanted to present our topic for today, which is Introduction to Government Contracting. I do want to let you know that this webinar will be recorded and it will be available on our website. And also we will have a question and answer time at the end of the presentation. We have two ways of being able to do that. You can either put it in the chat, and then we also have a Q&A as well. You'll be able to do that as well. So a little bit about our presenter today, our guest speaker today. Enrique Gonzalez. Enrique has worked on economic improvement for the bulk of his career. As an employee of LA County, he has worked in consumer advocacy, financial empowerment, and contracting technical assistant. As program manager, he has emphasized the empowerment of entrepreneurs and growing businesses by leveling the playing field with major prime contractors. Please welcome Enrique. Enrique, thank you so much for joining us today and taking your time out of your busy day. Thank you.
Okay, I'm just, okay, there we go. We have video now. Good morning, everybody. I'm the program manager of the LA County PTAC, and it's a pleasure to be here to be able to speak with the business community about another way we might be able to think about expanding our market share. As PTAC program manager, I oversee the staff of approximately 4 people, 4 or 5, give or take. What we do is counseling to businesses directly in one-on-one sessions. We take pride in the fact that we really like to get to know each one of our businesses. We really want to understand the nuance of how it is you differentiate yourself in the marketplace, so we'd be able to better provide you with resources that will help you compete in the government contracting space. Excuse me, I'm getting over a little bit of a cold, so if I sound a little bit less melodious than I might usually, then that's why. The LA County PTAC is designed to provide businesses with resources in the way of government contracting. So procurement, technical assistance. The PTAC is essentially providing those resources in 3 ways. 1, through counseling, and 2, through networking, another through training. And I think there should be an E in that procurement. See how good I am. I will just say that our services are completely free. And we can provide you with assistance at the starting levels of government contracting, but then also as you gain familiarity with the subject matter, we still have resources to be able to continue the momentum. Next slide, please. So the PTAC works out of the Office of Small Business. We provide small business counseling and the small business concierge, which you see at the end of the list, providing essentially small business startup information, but then also certification assistance. So certifications that help you compete more effectively in the government contracting circles is what we provide assistance with. In particular, the County of Los Angeles, we administer the certifications program. There are certifications offered by the County of Los Angeles in the way of local small business enterprise, social enterprise, which comprises both social as well as environmental focused businesses. We also have minority business enterprise and woman-owned small business enterprise, as well as LGBTQ certification. The Procurement Technical Assistance Center is the PTAC that I oversee the programmatic aspects of. It's a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, in particular the Workforce Development, Aging and Community Services Department, and the Department of Defense, and more specifically the Defense Logistics Agency. So back in the 80s, it was identified that the small business community needed assistance to be able to compete in the contracting spheres. So Congress created the system of PTACs, which is a nationwide system where grants are administered. Approximately 1 million is earmarked for the program nationwide by the Department of Defense. They establish what are called cooperative agreements between the County of Los Angeles and the Department of Defense. And these cooperative agreements essentially make it so that both agencies are partnering to both perform the services as well as for the services to be monitored by the Department of Defense. Let's go on to the next slide, please. So what is the PTAC and how do I connect? So as I said earlier, Congress had created the system of nationwide PTACs for funding for them. It's administered by the Department of Defense. There are 94 PTACs and 300 local offices nationwide, and there are 8 PTACs in California. So the jurisdiction that the PTAC in LA oversees is the Los Angeles County area. Those borders are not, rigid. If there is a business that is, in a county that doesn't have PTAC services, we'll certainly take them into the fold. But if a business is operating in, say for example, San Diego, and they're seeking out the services of the LA PTAC, then we will certainly notify the San Diego PTAC that there is a business in their jurisdiction that needs assistance. Next slide, please. So what does the PTAC do? And there's a lot of copy on this slide, so I'll just distill it. It's essentially to bridge the gap between the small business seller and the buyer in the government. And so by the government, I don't necessarily mean like this monolithic institution. I mean just the system of governmental agencies that exist throughout the country. And this is where, sometimes the political science major in me likes to be able to differentiate governmental agencies because it helps so much more for a business to be able to see it that way. For a government to be able to know the ways in which government are situated across the map really is helpful to be able to improve your ability to identify customers. So a business that is very well focused on municipalities, they'll be focusing on the cities of, say, for example, Santa Monica or the city of Los Angeles or the city of Long Beach. And another business might be interested in strictly states. This doesn't happen. Typically, a business is willing and able to operate across these various levels of government. It's really important to be able to notice and take notice of how many customers are out there by being able to differentiate that the government or the government is comprised of a constellation of agencies. So one classic example of that is the city of Los Angeles being confused with the county of Los Angeles. There are two separate agencies. Though they share the same name of Los Angeles, it's very important to be able to differentiate them so you can really clearly target your marketing towards one particular agency or another, and it really helps, and it speaks volumes to a particular buyer who's going to be considering a business and wanting to know that they're able to differentiate and know the scale at which the county operates versus how the city operates or any other city. So what else can we do? We can connect clients with procurement staff and create individualized action plans for getting started. So we do have contact resources to be able to reach out to the buyer that's going to be most interested in your product. We also provide you with the implements to be able to pursue the marketing process. So there is a specific marketing protocol that is followed from a documentational standpoint. You're going to want to have what's called a capability statement, and we can assist you with the putting together of the capability statement, where we have templates and exemplars to be able to refer to. So we assist with how to get started in government contracting. The industry requirements of your business are one thing, but there are two basic requirements. One is optional, the other one is a requirement. Registration is a requirement within government contracting with each individual agency that you're pursuing. And certification is something that is sort of improves your ability, but it's ability to make the sales, but it's not a requirement. So we also review client proposals and quotes. We assist you with the proposal writing process. And then we provide access to proprietary market intelligence software to identify potential leads. So we have market research software that we pay for, so you don't have to. A lot of major primes have this information available to them because they have the, cost is not as much of a consideration for these major primes. So we make this market research software, market intelligence software, basically software that aggregates information in the marketplace, so you don't have to pay for it. And it's one of the more advanced level tools that we have available to provide to the businesses. Next slide, please. So just a brief introduction about what government procurement consists of. One is registration. Step 2 is certification. Step 3 is research and procurement training. And then step 4 is responding to solicitations, marketing, and networking. We're going to be putting together a training package pretty soon. It's not live yet, but we want to be able to consolidate these training topics and so that businesses are able to walk away with a letter saying that they've completed all 4 steps of training. And that's something that we've, until now, have been, well, probably until the next fiscal year, have been offering services on an ad hoc basis based on whatever it is the business needs in that particular occasion. Right now, what we'd like to start seeing happen is having a complete curriculum whereby the counseling sessions will be focused on these 4 steps, not just on an ad hoc basis or an as needed basis, and the employee or the business owner can have a letter basically saying that they've completed the training. Of course, we're available for ongoing assistance as needed, but I mean, the best form of training is the one that makes it so you don't need any more assistance. But we're always here to help. Next slide, please. So registration is something that I would call the breakers of government contracting, and the idea would be to get past the breakers. So being able to feel comfortable registering and where possible certifying is something that any business thinking about embarking in government contracting needs to be considerate of. So registration, a required element by government agencies. So registration is a requirement. If you want to sell to the state of California, for example, you will need to register with Cal eProcure. Same with LA County, they call it WebVen. Same with the federal government, they call it SAM.gov. So a lot of these agencies have set locations where you can register in their agencies, so you can be recognized as a vendor, so that when you submit a proposal, they have you on file as someone who is interested in selling to them. So registration establishes a profile for your business on the governmental portal website of the agency. It is also a means by which the agency circulates information about relevant purchasing activity, so the buyers can respond. Excuse me. Certification is a way for the government to be able to say, we want to help uplift the community of the business or the business community by rewarding businesses that are, say, for example, in the county of Los Angeles, we have a local small business enterprise that provides a 15% price preference in the certification in the bidding process. So that means if you bid $100 and you have a certification, and your competitor that does not have the certification bids $86, then if it's only comes down to price, then you'll win the bid because your price artificially comes in at $85, so you'll still get paid the full $100. That's the way in which price preference is administered in the county for local small business enterprises. The state has an equivalent certification where they have a 5% price preference. The federal government operates a little bit differently, where the set-aside method is how they award vendors and businesses with a particular award. A set-aside, for example, for a woman-owned small business means that only women-owned small businesses can compete on that purchase, on that opportunity. Or a set-aside for a service-disabled veteran-owned small business is something that the federal government might establish so that only service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses can compete and win. The VA itself actually has a certification for service-disabled veteran-owned small businesses, so that and it's legislated and court affirmed. Supreme Court affirmed approximately 3 to 4 years ago in this case called Kingdomware, which clarified that the VA must contract with a veteran-owned small business or a service-disabled veteran-owned small business and at least provide them with the first bite of the apple. So certifications can be very handy at the federal, state, and local level. And it's one of the things that you may not always qualify for, but it's definitely something to look out for as you establish, your foundation in an agency and your competitiveness in an agency. Next slide, please. Okay, so these are various certifications, sort of a menu. The federal level, there's the minority 8A, which corresponds to traditionally disadvantaged groups. Traditionally disadvantaged groups that have been targeted in history by allowed by the U.S. government to be disadvantaged in history. So we're talking about African Americans, Hispanic Americans, we're talking about Asian Americans, Native Americans, all of those groups that are traditionally disadvantaged within the United States or by the United States is eligible for the 8A certification. There are other groups that may have experienced disadvantage or discrimination or targeted harassment as a result of their self-identification in a given ethnicity. But if it wasn't occurring at the hands or in the presence of the U.S. government, then those groups may not qualify. The woman-owned small business certification is another example of the set-aside certification. There's also a different certification pertaining to the same group called economically disadvantaged woman-owned small business. The hub zone is a geographically based certification where if your business is located in a historically underutilized business zone, and those business zones are identified by the Department of Commerce, if your employees live in a hub zone to the extent of 35% of your payroll, then you could be eligible for the hub zone certification. There's disadvantaged business enterprise through the Department of Transportation, and then there's the service to say the veteran-owned small business certification. There's also the veteran-owned small business certification. At the state, there's small business, which has a requirement threshold of 15 million or less a year. There is the small business for public works. There is, just to get that question, it's the same as the state. So 15 million is the threshold for the county as it is for the state. So then the County of Los Angeles, there's the local small business enterprise certification. The way this works is you get the small business certification at the state. It assumes your business is headquartered in the state of California, but for the local small business enterprise, you also must be headquartered in the County of Los Angeles. After that, the county offers a DVBE, the social enterprise, and the community business enterprise. Statewide, the legislation has made it so that there isn't a direct preference that is allowed in the competitions for gender or ethnicity. But there are these certifications so you can get enhanced exposure as being certified so that primes are encouraged to utilize these businesses as subcontractors. Just backing up a little bit, the local small business enterprise certification that the county offers, you need to first get the small business certification at the state. So the state, that's the finances of the business, and the County of Los Angeles verifies that the business is located in the County of Los Angeles. Next slide, please. Typically what you'll need for registration. Taxpayer identification, the company's name, address, phone, your sales tax permit number if you sell commodities. And that's for the most part it. WebVen is the location at the County of Los Angeles. Cal-E Procure hosts registration and certification on the same website, so that makes it more convenient. But it's typically a simple process. It's all done through the web nowadays, and it should all be free. Once you start getting into these registration circles, one of the things I need to warn you about is that there are third-party contractors out there telling you that you need to get assistance, or you'll get emails from .com saying, we can help you with this or that. I strongly recommend that you are reliant on either the PTAC or free resources otherwise, or just going forward independently, because there are very expensive consultants out there. And one of the metaphors I like to refer to is the 49er gold rush, where a lot of the people who made the money, some of them, yes, were miners, but the ones that really made the big bucks in the gold rush were the ones who were selling pickaxes and pans and camping equipment for the miners to be able to find the gold. So what the relationship is there with that metaphor is that there are a lot of people who are saying we can assist you in the process as you go to seek the opportunities and the rewards. But I would strongly recommend that you go forward with strictly free resources, so that cost is not going to be something you incur as a result of moving forward. And I think you'll learn a lot more. Next slide. So some of the tools and resources that we utilize in the PTAC, we have a template for a capability statement. That's kind of like a resume in government contracting circles. We also have market research software. As we can see from the screen, there is the top top spending agencies in a particular industry. I can't read it; it's too small. But essentially, it's an example of how we'd be able to help you market so that you can focus on particular agencies that we know for a fact are buying what you're selling. So this software in the middle, this screenshot of this software, not only can offer you past spending criteria and history with the idea that the best crystal ball is the rear view mirror, but it also can provide you current and present opportunities. And we furnish that to you in our counseling sessions. We also have within this market research software a contact directory. So we can look up job titles if there are a particular job title that you want to speak to or send your capability statement off to. In the third screenshot, we have an example of our bid match software, which automatically puts you in connection with opportunities that are consistent with the codes that you've shared with us. Bid match is the software that will email opportunities that you have related to us as being stuff that you're interested in. So it'll make it so you have like a daily, depending on how much demand there is for your product or service, you'll get to see what it is that the government is currently, and I mean government along the lines of the constellation of governmental agencies that are out there, pour into this software and provides you with an update as to what's taking place in the marketplace of your industry and the public contracting sphere. So why don't we go to the next slide? And that's the final slide. No, that's the final slide. Okay, so we're available. My email is listed there. If you would like to establish a counseling session, we are available to do so. I know that our booking software can sometimes allocate about 2 hours, but typically that's not needed. If you feel like you would like to get a counseling session sooner than our booking software allows for, then please feel free to reach out to me and we can see if we can accommodate that. I can start with the questions if you have any.
Yes, we do. Thank you, Enrique, for that wonderful information. So we are going to be moving on to the Q&A portion of today's meeting. Oh, am I on? Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I had myself on mute. So we will be moving on to the Q&A. So again, his information is here. So before you bombard him with the emails, we will answer the questions here, but definitely reach out to them if you have further questions, especially after this session is over. So question and answer session. So I will be going with the chat and the Q&A. So again, if you don't know where those features are at, if you're using a computer, it should be up at the top or the bottom. Again, it's listed chat or Q&A. You can type in your question on either or, and we will go from there. So I believe there's a couple of questions. So I'm going to scroll to the top. It looks like there's a lot of engagement here. See, I don't want to miss anyone's. So let's see. I think the first one that I see is the contracting limited to the Department of Defense only?
No, it's available through the state of California, the county of Los Angeles, the city of Los Angeles, the city of Long Beach, the city of Santa Monica, the city of Montebello. It's essentially the world is your oyster when it comes to where opportunities are available.
Awesome. All right. And I believe we have another one. So does PTAC assist in selling to educational agencies? And I believe there's a second question attached to this. So how about workforce development organizations?
We do free presentations, but we don't have any income to administer training in programs outside. We actually, by design, do not accept income.
Okay. Moving on to the next question, and I'll go ahead and mention your guys' names so that way you guys know your questions are being answered. So I have the next one, Julia Moreno, it's cut off. I believe it's Moreno. Sorry. Do we contact you at PTAC first or directly to your office at WDACS?
The PTAC is fine. You can email me and I can send you registration information.
Perfect. All right. And we have a question from Arthur Rubin. How can LAEDC help with getting sales to adult education and workforce development? So that's a question for us. Seta, do you know how to answer this one?
Hi, Arthur. We do have our resources as far as connection. So I would say the best thing to do is to reach out to your technical assistance providers, in this case, myself or Erwin, and we would be able to guide you through that process and be able to work with you.
So Arthur, I know that really wasn't an answer maybe you were looking for, but we can get the answer internally. So we can definitely ask our colleagues and see how we can assist you with your needs specifically. So definitely reach out to us. I believe at the end of this presentation, we will list our information again, so that way you can get in contact with us. All right. So I have another question. Let's see. How do you oh no, I'm sorry, I skipped one. What is considered a small business for County of LA?
15 million or less in annual revenue.
15 million or less. All right. How do you define public works in reference to state set aside?
There aren't set asides at the state, but public works is essentially any infrastructural project. So anything institutional like waterways or electrical or roadworks, anything infrastructural like that would be considered public works.
Perfect. All right, so I have another one from Janet Reyes. So I applied for a 5,000 grants comeback for micro business and no response yet. Does this mean I didn't qualify? So I would definitely reach out to one of us so we can look into this further. So either myself or Seta, so that way we can get in contact with the right individuals and see exactly what that means. To give you an answer right off the bat, does that mean I didn't qualify? I wouldn't say it doesn't mean you didn't qualify. I would just think that they are very backed up to begin with. So there is a waiting process as of right now. But again, definitely reach out to us so we can further assist you and give you the answer as far as, you know, what the status of your application is. Okay. How can I get a copy? So I'll let this known to everyone just in case you didn't see the chat, the response that I sent. So how can I get a copy of the slides from this event? So the session is being recorded and it will be available on our website. So that is www.laedc.org/coronavirus. It'll be under the past recordings or past webinars. So again, it will be uploaded to our website so you can go ahead and reference back to it. Okay, moving on here. I'm getting a couple more questions, so I lose my place, so bear with me. The comeback checks, which offered 5,000 grants, is being administered by the city's EWD. Okay, I don't think that was a question. I think that was a response. Let's see. Can you share the booking software here in the booking link here in the chat? Not sure what link you are speaking about. There's a couple of links that I sent in the chat. So if it is one of those, then there you go. If it's not, feel free to ask a question.
We have a bookings link, but we ask that you register first. So when you reach out to me via email, I'll send you both.
Perfect. Thank you, Enrique. All right. What if my NAICS code is not available for set aside contracts?
It may be the case. It may be that that's the case. And especially, it might also be affected by the size of your business. So it's just a matter of searching and also informing buyers that you're out there, that if you have a certification in the federal government, then you let them know that you haven't seen a set aside for a while and you'd like to see if they'd be able to set one up if they do intend to purchase whatever it is that you have to offer, whether it's a commodity or service.
Perfect. Thank you for that. Okay. Does a business have to be a corporation, and how long do they have to be in business in order to get certified?
They could have opened last week, and they don't have to be a corporation. And you can get a sale as quickly as, as soon as you can start marketing. I've seen businesses get a contract, 2 months after opening their doors. So it's just a matter of being in the right place at the right time and increasing your visibility in those circles.
Perfect. Next question. We have, I got my small business certification approved. Can I update the services that I can provide?
Yeah, you can always go back into your profile and make changes that are descriptive in that way, depending on the agency. Most of the agencies allow for that.
Awesome. All right, next question I have, does PTAC assist with possibly subcontracting for startups who don't necessarily have a capability statement?
You can have a capability statement whether you have past performance or not, but yes, we can assist with networking. So you can either create a collaborative joint ventures or subcontract, providing with resources also to locate major primes so you can get integrated into their supply chain.
All right, I have another question here. As a veteran, is there a site or a government entity that I need to work with or recommend I work with? Sorry if this was mentioned, lost connection a few times. So if you are a veteran, definitely reach out to us, especially if you are a business owner. We do have connections as far as, where to guide you as far as, being a veteran. So there are different types of agencies and government entities that can assist, especially being a veteran-owned business or a veteran individual to begin with. So nonetheless, definitely reach out to myself or Seta. All right. I'm looking for questions. So I have another one here. I have a preschool as well as a small elementary school. Do your services include helping with contracts for those businesses?
Yes, we've frequently worked with schools. Geography is very important. So if you're in proximity to a location where, an after-school program is needed, we can assist you with locating, usually the unified school districts that are proximate to your geographic location. It's going to be what's most helpful to be able to make inroads towards maybe creating an after-school program or something else that your business educational center can provide.
Thank you. Awesome. All right, I have another one here. Does the city hire supply chain consulting services?
Yeah, I've seen supply chain services marketed. There are consultants that market their services to the government, and so yes, I've seen it done before.
Perfect. I believe we're reaching one of our last questions in chat, and then from there, I'm actually going to switch over to Q&A because I believe there's some questions there, so I want to make sure I respect everyone's time. So last question I'm taking from chat is, to get started with PTAC, what is the very next step that I need to take after today?
Just email me and I'll send you the links to get registered and established in the booking system.
Perfect. All right, so now I'm switching over to Q&A. So I have one from Robert. Just wondering if I can hear a case study of a business that you've helped.
Yeah, we have a marketing strategies research company. They had obtained the 8A certification when I met them. We started sending them information, or we worked with them on getting them market research information. The time they had their 8A certification, they were coming up on their 3rd year, and they were getting kind of frustrated, thinking that the certification wasn't going to pan out for them or do anything for their business. And it turned out that there was a federal contract in the Department of Defense that I guess the heir apparent contractor fell out of the running because they failed to maintain their certification status. They were the runner-up. They were selected. It was a game changer for this business because it was a major department, Department of Defense contract. They've subsequently gone on to work for other agencies. They've increased in size by, I don't know, I think from last time I heard, 1,200%. So they grew out of their office. It became too large to be able to fit in their original office, and it was a real strong success story. Another business, was at our office there a lot, and wanted to make the most out of the process. Got registered in SAM. Got established as a service-disabled veteran-owned small business, had some contacts in manufacturing and supplying in Southeast Asia, and was moving forward. And then I guess they got in contact with a supplier in personal protective equipment, and really was one of the early businesses to respond, and just we're hustling, as they self-describe how they pursued it. So providing them with contacts was something that the PTAC was involved in, providing them with insight as to how the certifications work, providing them with marketing materials. Yeah, it was a lot of grit in their success, because I think the last time I had a conversation with them was in October, and they said in the last 7 months they had done 8 or 9 million in sales. And I said, well, what do you attribute to this success? And they said, well, really just reaching out to individual buyers and making them, feel like they had your undivided attention. Because like everyone who purchases something, every purchase is critical. Right, you're spending money, and in the case of the buyers, you're spending taxpayer money. So it's really important that you're able to convey to them that the money that they spend with you is money well spent.
Awesome, thank you for that. As you can see, there is definitely case studies and success stories that they have, especially with the businesses that they assist with. So there's plenty more, and you can be a part of that success story as well. So definitely reaching out would be the first step, like you mentioned. All right, so I have another one here. I'll probably take this last one here. So you mentioned a few times that visibility, marketing, and networking is important. How do we accomplish this as we start the registration process?
Well, for one, advocates and buyers are listed on the website. It's free information. The buyer is a buyer of what you sell, right? So if you're looking for current opportunities, you'll want to look for buyers who purchase what you sell. You want to look for current opportunities of what it is that you sell. But then you also want to record the names, emails, telephone numbers of the buyers that sell stuff that's proximate to what you sell. Because chances are, let me just say that buyers buy the same stuff all the time. They have expertise in purchasing office supplies, or have someone else assigned to purchasing medical supplies or IT supplies. So they're not just buying IT supplies one day or medical supplies the next. You'll want to establish relationships with these buyers, because they are the ones who are consistently buying what it is that you're selling. So locating them on these websites. Networking is also very important. So yeah, I would say that making use of what's just on offer, and then also making use of the PTAC, where we can provide you with more resources through use of our own databases, but then also the software that we hire out and pay for.
Awesome. All right, so if we're going to now be ending the Q&A session, there's a couple of things, a couple of next slides that I want to go ahead and mention before we end this session completely. So if you didn't get a chance to get your question answered or ask a question to begin with, definitely reach out. Again, this session is being recorded. So if you miss any of that information, definitely, watch that recording. It should be available, I want to say, in the next coming days to possibly next week, early next week as well. So we're going to move on to the next slide here. All right, so we definitely want you to stay connected. So please complete business intake form to schedule a free and confidential assessment meeting with a business assistance representative. So that is available again at www.laedc.org/coronavirus. We do have Together for LA webinar series schedule and registrations can be found at that same exact website. Again, that is www.laedc.org/coronavirus. Definitely want to see you in our next webinar series. All right. So speaking of next one, we do have our next one. So as you can see on the left-hand side, have a picture here. So Introduction to Government Contracting was today. The next one is going to be April 20th, and that is going to be speaking about small business insurance. And again, we will have our guest speaker from the County of LA. I don't think it'll be Enrique, but I believe it's one of his colleagues. So definitely stay tuned with that. We know business insurance can be confusing, but it's definitely important to have, especially for business owners or anything along those lines. So definitely want to stay tuned for that. Again, it is April 20th. That is from the same time, 11 to 12. All right. And you can register at that same exact website that I just mentioned a couple of times. I did actually put that in the chat as well. Again, I will have Seta actually type it in because I know it probably got lost in the chat. But again, that's www.laedc.org/coronavirus. All right. And again, we have our information here. Again, my name is Erwin Silva. My email is listed down below if you need to get in contact with me. Setas is to the left, so we both can assist you. And feel free to reach out to us. All right. And I think that's pretty much it for the webinar. Again, we want to thank everyone that attended, and especially a thank you to Enrique, especially since it seems like you were getting down with a cold. So we definitely hope you feel better and stay safe and continue to stay safe.
Thank you.
Again, we look forward to
having. Thanks for letting me come to share the message that we work with and sharing our mutual mission.
Most definitely. Thank you so much. We are very appreciative of the partnership and collaboration that we have, and we will continue to have. So again, my name is Erwin, and you guys all have a great day. We look forward to seeing you at our next webinar.
Thank you, everyone.